Morning, everyone, and welcome. And thanks for joining us. I think all of you by now might be people who are already in our WhatsApp community. My name is Ramya Modukuri, and I think we should start naming ourselves on these WhatsApp chats. The other guiding teens name that shows up here is Sapna, and together we run Guiding Teens. Uh, we are a parent community that aims to basically empower parents to support their teens in making better decisions, whether that is about college and careers, or generally life decisions, we hope. So if you're here today, you already know that raising teenagers in today's world is both meaningful and incredibly messy. There is no handbook, no formula, no guaranteed script that works for every child. And most of us are just doing our best, right? Sapna and I are also parents of teens, and that's what motivated us to start this. And what we've seen is it can also, while there's a lot of advice that's coming at you from different places, it can be incredibly reassuring to hear real stories from real parents and not perfect solutions but different perspectives on parenting, because there are as many perspectives on parenting as there are parents, right? And so this is what our new parenting series is about, and we aim to bring you different perspectives of parents who think in different ways about raising kids, about schooling, and things like that. So today we're incredibly honored to have Kinjal and Sanket Dharod, and they are parents of two incredible teenagers. I actually met them through their sons, who are both really thriving young adults, teens. And they also bring a very refreshing philosophy, parenting philosophy, which Sapna and I both found really interesting. And we thought, these kind of conversations will, whether you agree or not, right, it will help you be more mindful about what your own parenting style is. Just briefly about them, they have been parenting with awareness for 18 years. They are a multi-generational family. They have a wealth of credentials among the two of them, between ISB, Kellogg, Montessori, and having taught. Kinjal has been a teacher, and Sanket has been running his own business. And not only has he has authored multiple books, but also their sons have authored multiple books also. And I have had the privilege of reading a few of those. And they also run a parenting initiative that they can talk about a little bit at the end. So over to you guys. I will just give me a second. I will share the screen. We have I think, a little pre-prepared thing followed by, most of this will be discussion. So you guys run it however you want, and I'll just share the screen.
Also, the chat box is open in case you want to add any questions. You can do it there or make any observations. And Kinjal and Sanket have requested if you guys can keep your cameras on because, as Ramya mentioned, it's going to be more of a conversation.
Wait, is the Zoom screen blocking things? Hold on.
We can
Okay, is
see the
this
We
better?
can
presentation
see the
now.
screen, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Uh,
All right.
okay, are we good?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, hi everybody. We'll just have a quick.
There's a request to speak louder, so I just be a
Oh,
moment.
okay. Uh, we'll just share across a few of our larger thoughts, some mindsets which we think have worked well in our parenting journey. We have all been learning. It's been a journey where we have had our highs and lows, our ups and downs. Nobody is a born parent. You become a parent for the first time, you start walking, and then you keep improvising. We've been blessed with two lovely kids. A very quick two-liner. The elder one is doing his undergrad, third year, and the younger one is in 11th IB. So we'll just share a few of our louder thoughts, which we think have helped us in our journey, and would like to open the house up then where we could have a productive discussion. We learn something from you all, and maybe we can share our thoughts across where we can add value. Ramya, yeah, we love to start with. I mean, the parenting flow, which you saw on the previous slide, was the book which was written. It's about parenting with awareness. The idea was to share our journey of about 19 years parenting our kids and what have been our learnings through. We love to start with this that everybody is a is a parent for the first time, and it is a choice. Most of us would have made a very conscious decision to walk that path. It could have been coincidental for a few, but yeah, once a parent, always a parent. This is one decision of your life which you cannot go back on. You can never unparent yourself for the rest of your life. Having said that, it's one of the most beautiful journey which could transform us as individuals, us as human beings, if we are willing to walk the path while learning through the journey. And we've always come with this approach that it is we who ask this individual to come into our lives. The child, or whether it's a boy or a girl, they didn't demand us to be brought in. It was we who wanted them to be a part of our life. And it was a choice which we have made. And a conscious choice, a happy choice, is the beginning foundation of any parenting journey, which helps make it through all the highs and lows, through all the chaos, through all the cacophony, and the entire mess, which ends up becoming a beautiful milestone as we keep journeying ahead. Yeah. Uh, Rabia, you could move on to the next.
The child was handmade with love and not mass produced. Any irregularities are part of her charm and uniqueness and not to be considered as flaws. This is so true, right? Uh, we have been seeing this in all our houses, wherever there are siblings. So, no two child who have been brought up by the same parents in the same environment are the same. So, why do we always end up comparing and having the feeling that maybe my child is not this, he or she could have been this, what more can I do? So we've always been seeing what our child is not and never what our child is. So I think there comes that distinction that each child is unique, each child is a masterpiece. We all are a masterpiece in ourselves, and we all bring something very unique into this world, and we all have been brought up with a very with a lot of intelligence and very specific purpose that we all have. It's just that we need to identify the purpose, and we need to just help our child nurture it along the way. Yeah.
Uh, I love this quote, which is every child is gifted, but they just unwrap their packages at different times. This is just carrying forward from the same thought about uniqueness. There is this concept of a creative genius where each one of us inherently has something which is a genius lurking somewhere. The question is it tapped? Is it identified? Is it allowed the environment to nurture, blossom, grow? And this creative genius cannot be boxed into categories, cannot be boxed into something which is a predefined parameter. It's very, very different and unique for everybody. And I feel our kids are fortunate to have been born in a generation in times where there is growing acceptance and value of every varied kind of talent, skill, passion possible. Gone are the days of stereotypical boxing of them within a few predefined accepted social molds, and the others are outliers. Having said that, we will have to start with just being accepting. I'll just share a simple example of our both kids. They are so different, yet they own bring their own charms to the world. The elder one is a kid of heart. He's so empathetic. He connects with people instantly. He's very disarming in terms of very pleasant, and he's a humanities kid. And the younger one is a pure intellect kid. Math, science, that's what he understands. He understands logic, he understands rationality, he understands argument. So you cannot have the same hand dealing with both of them. But having said that, if you start comparing one with the other, saying he is good here, he is not good here, you are doing this better, whereas the other one is not, I think you're defeating the entire purpose of raising unique individuals. And this is where the thought came about let us try to find, identify their creative genius, and see how we can nurture and build it on. Ramya, let's go on.
Holistic development. Life is all about using the whole box of crayons. So this is something like giving our child the entire buffet which is there when we go to a restaurant, and we end up choosing to have buffet over an a la carte. So we try to tell our child that let's try all the things, right from the salad to the appetizers to the main course to the desserts. So the life is something about that. I mean, until and unless we give them that platform, that bandwidth, and that environment where they are able to observe everything, where they are able to use everything, and where they are able to experience life in itself. So yeah.
This thought of the crayons is something where we use
Yeah.
we've always shared this with the kids also. And when we give, we've seen many times when you give younger kids a white paper, a box of crayons, a large part of them ends up drawing the mountains, the sky, and you end up using those two or three colors. And there will be those few kids who start using the other colors and start creating something new. And at times they are made fun of. At times they are just looked at as to what is that you have done. But a beautiful collage happens when you end up using all your this thing. And for that, what's required is an all-round 360-degree development, which you would end up giving the child as he's growing up. And that's what leads into the next one. Uh, this has been one very strong foundational philosophy and mindset of ours: exposure, exposure, exposure. And this is a life mantra, like fill your life with experiences, not things. Have stories to tell, not stuff to show. It's been our endeavor to have our kid get exposed to a variety of things at a very young age. If it is sports, it's not just one sport you stick on to. You at least expose them to a few team sports, a few individual sports, a few intellectual sports, for example, chess, life skill activities like swimming. When it comes to arts, there has to be a musical instrument which they play. There has to be some singing. There has to be some creative art, which could be drawing, sketching, whatever. Uh, when it comes to some other outdoor activities, it could be visiting places, it could be doing a variety of things. But the idea is to keep exposing them to as many things as possible. And this one phrase has always stuck with us, which is at the early ages of your kid, try to be mile wide, inch deep, which means try to cover as much ground as you can rather than getting into the depths so quickly, because you never know what is it that will strike, that will just click with your child. He'll have that aha moment and he'll say, no, this is something I just want to do. He will keep chasing you that I would like to go back to that. And those are where you are finding some inherent talent, some inherent, what we call the creative geniuses lurking somewhere which you can nurture out. But until you exposed him to something, how would the child know anything about each of these things? And a corollary of this also has been this profound learning which we got, which we call, we like to give phrases to words because then they stick around with kids and us, is borrowed learning. What you learn in one field ends up helping you in the other fields. When our kids skate, they learn the balance, which helps them when they are playing the tennis, which and the footwork and the handwork of tennis probably helps them in this, in their swimming, in their badminton, in their uh, variety of, in the outdoor activities like rock climbing, like trekking. So there's a lot of borrowed learning which keeps happening in each one of this. And it's this borrowed learning which gives them a complete holistic way of grasping things and makes them a much more quicker learner. We have seen our kids learning new things so quickly over a period of time just because they had the borrowed learnings from earlier skills, which may not be directly related, maybe tangential, but were very equally important.
Role of education. Parent, what did you learn today? Student, apparently not enough. We have to go back tomorrow. So I think this is a primary question which we all need to ask, that what is the definition of education, and what is the expectation that we have from education? I mean, are we only looking at children succeeding in academics, going into good universities, getting a good high paid job, and then settling into lives? Or are we trying to inbuild the curiosity in our children? Are we trying to see that are they able to become lifelong learners? I mean, is that curiosity going to still be alive when they are adults and when they reach our ages? Or is it just that, it is just to write the exam and just to pass it and just to pass in it and do well? So I think the fundamental question which we need to ask ourselves is, what do we exactly want from education? What is the definition of it? And while we also choose our schools, we've always felt that it's a triangle. The child, the parent, and the teacher who is guiding the children. So if the triangle is made perfect, it is a very good balance. Everyone walks on the same path. The conflict happens when the parent and the teacher are talking the different languages. That is when there's a dilemma and the triangle never gets complete. And that confuses the child even more. So that defeats the entire purpose of education for the child. So the primary aim, the underlying thing always has to be that how can my child become a lifelong learner? How can what are those seeds which can be nurtured and which can be harnessed very early in their lives, which will help them become lifelong learners?
I'll just a slide back for a moment, Ramya, if it's fine. On the education one, if you can go back, can you? Yeah. I'll just add in a couple of things here, more so because we are talking about parents who are teens, I assume here. It's very common, especially in our context out here in the eastern part of the world, that as kids grow into higher classes, higher grades, suddenly there is a phobia. Suddenly there is this big monster of academics, boards, examinations, which just starts cropping up and creeping into life of not just the child, but even the parent. And slowly we start switching off a lot of those things which probably we started initiating for the kids, and we were so happy they were doing it. Their sports takes a back seat, their art or their music takes a back seat, their fun, their holidays, their Sundays, their movies take a back seat. Somewhere in the entire spectrum, we make it feel as if it's a big mountain which needs to be climbed, and I think with that mindset, it becomes a cumbersome task for the child. He loses the joy of learning, and without joy of learning, it's a furthermore uphill task because you're not enjoying it and you're forced to do it. And that's where resistance, that's where resentment starts creeping in. And this is one of a very fundamental area where we have seen the age gap, the generation gap, the parental child difference creeping in, because you're talking to different languages, to different expectations. We can talk about this further ahead in the Q&A, but very, very importantly, how can we look at education as just one pie, one part of the pie and not the entire pie, even when the kids are growing up? Come to think of it, when you reflect back on your own lives as parents, each one of us, I'm not sure how important was that ninth grade final exam score for each one of us, and do we even remember it, how much we got in our English or our math, and did it really make that big a difference as we stand today in our lives? So why do we do that for our kids?
Kinjal and Sanket, I just wanted to ask that will you be talking also about some of your so I know, I mean, we've discussed this, that where you say what do you require from your child when they join a new class,
Right.
or that kind of stuff, like what are your decisions, some of this, right? So will you be sharing it right now or later?
I mean, we could do it right now. I was just
Do it alongside, because that makes it more,
okay.
because you guys have some of these ideas that you've implemented,
Let's
right?
go back to the previous slide. I think this one is the
Yeah.
yeah. While the education is the backdrop, a few of the things. I mean, when we were talking about holistic development and exposure, there was one thing which, I mean, this worked for us. You could have your own different ways of doing it. What we used to tell our kids, I mean, of course, there will be resistance because we used to take our kids to classical dance performances. We used to take our kids to mime. We used to take our kids to theater, serious play. We used to take our kids to, I mean, museums. We used to take our kids for anything which comes out there, which is an exposure we would love to take. And of course, there is resistance initially. Of course, there is this argument that no, this is not for us. You see around, there are only oldies. We are the only young ones out here. We are the outliers. Why are you forcing us? Stuff like that. And our initial, our mindset was this. We would say we will give it 3 shots. We will not talk, sulk, or complain till we have attempted it thrice. After the third attempt, if you still feel the same, we accept, we will move back, we will go alone, we will not take you, we will not push you along. Having said that, after every such experience, we used to make it a point to ensure that there is a very logical, well thought out discussion which happens of that particular experience and exposure. What was it that was interesting? What was special about somebody who could make him stand on the stage and perform while we were the audience? What was the good? What was the bad? What did you like? What did you not like? Something as simple as even a movie was a learning experience. Who was the antagonist? Why was the protagonist the way he was? Why was the antagonist the way he was? What was it that was good? What was the director's take on the entire thing? What's your take on the whole thing? So everything was made into a learning experience and exercise. And then what happens is eventually what we've said in most of the cases after those 3 attempts, we find the kid themselves opening up and starting to share, okay, this is what we thought without we even poking them in. Similarly, I will take a tangent in terms of holistic development. The kids would always say, okay, we start off with the sport. Let's say they say we start off with soccer. They say we enjoy soccer. We have such good friends. We are having fun. Why are you introducing basketball? Again, that's another group sport. Why are you making us play badminton or table tennis? Because that's just two people. And we'll say again the same thing. And we used to ensure that for each one of them there is formal training which is given. It's not just a sport which is introduced for the fun of the sport. There was formal organized training, personalized training which was given, and we would make a bar chart. The bar chart would be simple that we will write every activity, basketball, soccer, football, or sketching, musical instrument, singing, whatever it is. And we'll say there are levels of proficiency. There could be, I don't know, I can manage, I am okay, I'm fine, I'm pretty good, I'm really good, I excel. And the bar was that for any of these activities, we will not quit till we are at a stage where we say, I am fine, I can manage. And which could be a set of 10, 20, 30 classes which may be required. After that, the child is at his liberty to quit whenever he or she wants. And we have found that this entire activity made them an active participant in the entire learning process, wherein they are themselves marking it every weekend. We would just sit down and say, okay, let's check our bar graphs. Have we improved? Is it the same bar? Is it going up? And that ensured that they had that inclination, that liking towards the entire thing while doing it. If I may, I will if I can, I would love to stick our neck out and make one more thing which worked with us. Can we go to the education slide? Uh, we chose this particular quote very specifically, which is apparently not enough. We have to go back tomorrow. Uh, Basically, what is it that we are looking at from education? What is it? Is it the academics or is it the curriculum which is to be covered? Let's accept the fact that in today's world, a lot of the curriculum which is covered, a curious kid could self-learn it through platforms like Khan Academy and a variety of other options which are available. You don't need a school, you don't need a teacher for doing that, right? So, what is it that a school or a teacher should be doing? At the very fundamental level, it should be trying to get that spark of love, of curiosity, of interest in that subject. All of us know when we were kids, we had that one favorite teacher who ended up us making us love that particular subject. We don't know why, but it was for the teacher. Had it been some other teacher, probably we wouldn't have loved that subject. And that is something which is the role of the teacher. We stick our neck out. When I said it was an activity which it is a unspoken rule which we follow at our house, which is this that no tuitions, because we feel tuition is redundancy. If you're doing tuitions, and you're doing school, one of them is not required. Why are you doing two things and repeating the same thing again? Somewhere somebody is failing. A. B, we had this thing when we will tell our kids that you're not going to revise or prepare for examinations, you're just going to walk in as if it's a surprise test. Now, imagine there was a surprise test when the kid goes to class, he would perform, right? What was the purpose of a surprise test? It is to gauge your understanding of the subject, how well you know it. And that's a reflection back for the child, for the teacher, probably, as to how is it that the education or the subject has been imparted. Is the fundamental knowledge good, or is there somewhere which is gaps in education which need to be worked upon? Because it's like building a multi-storied structure. Imagine having a weak foundation and you start just keep on building your floors because you have deadlines to meet. And I think that's what education is doing today. You have weak foundations, somewhere or the other, the pillar is going to crumble. And that's where the child starts faltering. And when the child starts faltering, you start saying, okay, let's have tuitions, let's do this, let's do that. But somewhere we stop addressing the cause that probably somewhere the very core concepts, the very basic fundamentals which the child should have understood well, have not. Let's go back there. Let's go back to your grade 4, grade 5, even if your child is in your grade 8 or grade 9, and get those concepts right. If you get the concepts right, building upon them is much more easier. And so we always tell the child that if you get a zero on your test, it's fine. It at least gives us a feedback that somewhere these are the areas where you need to work on. Let's build up on that. Rather than you just trying to revise something at the last minute and vomiting it out and probably forgetting it after that. It's not going to help you as you keep moving forward. And honestly, this is how we approach our teachers. When the teachers tell us in the parent teacher meeting that the child has done this and he could have scored more, I mean, we just question, shouldn't the exam be a reflection of the teacher rather than the child? It's the if you're teaching something and the child is not understanding, it is probably the teacher who has to change the way of teaching rather than the other way out. Because every child is unique in their way of learning. So why not we have it that way and make them learn the way they understand it? So this approach of not preparing for tests and being acceptable of any score which the child gets has ensured that our kids get a lot of time to do other activities because they do not have tuitions, they do not have revisions. They get that time to do a lot of other things which make them well-rounded, all around developed. Because time is the only thing, funnily, our kids are worrying about and scared about as they go into higher grades, which shouldn't be the case necessarily. And the child ensures that when he is learning in class, he will be fully attentive rather than just whiling away his time because he knows I'm going to cover the same topic back in tuitions. तो अगर यहाँ नहीं भी करूँगा तो चलेगा. I'm anyway going to cover it back in tuitions. That luxury is not there for the kids because there is no tuition, there is no backup, there is no revision, there is no preparation for exam. So they will do it very well. And our kids are notoriously known in the school that they will not let the class proceed until they have clarified their doubts repeatedly and the concept is clear. They will just not let the class go on because they will keep asking. And if let's say the time is over, they will go back to the teacher and say, okay, I need your time, but I need to get this clarified because where else will I go otherwise? And this works fantastically. I mean, it has worked fantastically for us. I know it's a bit radical. So examination is the most chill time for our kids. They watch movies for every exam. They have fun, and then they just go stress-free into the exam writing it. There is no last-minute preparation. There is no last-minute revision. Nothing. And we have seen that being stressed actually burns you out over a period of time, which we see in a lot of teenagers of this generation. A relaxed, stress free child is a blessing and they will blossom much more beautifully. Already, there's a lot of hormonal and physical changes which they're undergoing, which is a challenge in itself. Let's not add it to it further by putting on stress of performance, stress of results, stress of anxiety on them and defeat the entire thing. I think I spoke a bit on what Sapna was talking. Let's go ahead and we will again address it in Q&As if at all. Uh, Kinjal, over to you. I spoke a lot.
Emotional intelligence. We need to care less about whether our children are academically gifted and more about whether they sit with the lonely child in the cafeteria. We all always feel that academics is the only thing, that is the only intelligence which is there. But we fail to understand that when we do not have the emotional intelligence backing it up, no education will be complete without that. There have been many people in our lives which we have seen that in our personal this thing, our friends, they have been working in very big companies. They are the CEOs there. But somewhere down the line, uh, there were a few of them who actually had to quit because they were just not able to handle it. Their mind was telling something, their heart was telling something else. So I think somewhere even our definition as parents of education is just academics. We fail to teach our children that it is okay to fail in life. It is fine. You are still acceptable.
I'll take this.
Yeah.
Pooh asked, "What day is it?" "It's today," squeaked Piglet. "My favorite day," said Pooh. Parenting is a blessing. Parenting is something which shapes us as human beings. We change the day we become, the moment we become parents, and we change forever. It's a beautiful journey. It's a blessed journey. The universe opens up to us if we are willing to let it come in. There are so many moments of our life which we just miss out with our kids because we are on a checklist of this, after this, we are on a checklist of correcting them, we are on a checklist of improving them, of minding them, of trying to push them towards some things, and we just fail to just spend good time. There is a lot of talk which happens about quality time. Let's spend some quality time with our kids, wherein we are giving them undivided attention, which is very important, yes. But somewhere we forget that if we are spending quantity time with the child, quality time will somehow seep in, and somewhere out of the blue, hidden aha moments would come up in those time spent where you're just doing nothing. You may be playing a board game, you may be just sitting on the sofa chit-chatting, because those are the times when suddenly a child opens up and starts sharing his thoughts, his feelings, his frustrations, his angers, his insights, his friends, his enemies, if at all, or his challenges at school. Which, if you ask them normally when they come back from school or in the evening, how was your day? A typical teenager answer is fine, and you move on. Yeah, it was okay, and you move on. Those monosyllables have become a trademark of these teenagers just because we have not told them to express themselves freely, fully, because nobody has the time to listen. And I think that's where we as parents come in. Sometimes all that these kids need is somebody who will just unconditionally listen, not judge, listen. You are not going to be looking at them through your filters of right, wrong, fair, unfair, good, bad. Just listen, just be. And those are the parenting moments which your child will cherish. Uh, when we were young, we used to talk about those nani ma, dadi ma ki kahaniya. What were those things? There was nothing but just some sweet nothings spent with our loved ones. Our kids are missing this because whether we accept it or not, somewhere even we have got stuck in our own rat races, and we are not able to give the kind of time which we would love to give our kids. So we will have to take out, we'll have to somewhere prioritize unscheduled parenting as part of our raising kids, and it makes a world of difference. So cherish the parenting moments. There is no such thing as a perfect parent. Just be a real one. You as a parent with your child is the only unique combination possible in 8 billion of this universe. No two kids, no two parents are the same. So there is no one formula fits all. When you become a parent, somehow nature bestows us with this gut parenting instinct, if we can tap into it. When the kids were small, that you would know when the child is hungry, you would know when the child is pooping, you would know when the child is needs to just sleep. Nobody taught you that. It is just that connect which you have with your child. And that's unique. 1 in 8 billion, as of now, the numbers will keep going up and down. But the bottom line is it's a very, very unique bond which you have. Just to be that real parent for the child and blossom through the parenting journey. Okay. Profound Ripples is a not-for-profit initiative which we do. I mean, there is a monetary aspect to it, but the entire monetary aspect goes for a cause. We do not keep anything out of it. It's a one-on-one parent-child mentorship spread over a 1 year period, wherein we start with weekly meetings of the parent and the child, and then we stagger it to a fortnight and then a month over a period of. And the idea here is not profile building for a college application or a college counseling. The idea here is how can we have a holistic development of the child in the prime years of their life, wherein they are able to go out and live life at large. Wherein they are able to live a complete life, not be one. One subject, one field geniuses while failing in a lot of the others. Uh, that's the larger goal. How do we make happy, fulfilling, purposeful kids? Tomorrow's thought leaders, tomorrow's change makers. So that's the endeavor which we try to do in a very, very select niche way in our own this thing. Just wanted to write. You can check out about for it on serenestrokes.com. There you would be able to probably get some information out. I think, yeah, we can just, you can probably just stop the screen share and open it up for anything and everything.
Yes, I'd
There
also like to
was
request,
there was a hand raised earlier.
I
If
think Kanika,
Kanika, yeah.
and also requesting everyone to, because now we're entering the sort of more, it's a discussion really, right? We'd love to hear what you thought, what has worked for you, anything you want to share or ask really.
I have to say, the
But
first time I spoke with them, I asked a lot of questions because I was like, but this doesn't really
Sapna, I
work in life.
request you also to switch on your camera.
Give me 2 minutes.
Uh,
I'm just in the middle of something. Yeah, so yeah, go ahead. If you don't agree with something, you think something doesn't work, it sounds too idealistic, please go ahead and say it.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes.
My name is Shweta, and thank you so much for this lovely session. I have a 13-year-old son, and like any other teenage mom or a preteen mom, I'm also, I wouldn't say struggling, but it's a challenge every day. And he's a very good kid. Uh, he has been a delight to be a parent of. But what I want to essentially ask you is that now that kids are uh, entering a stage where they need a little bit of independence and at the same time they want the parent to be around, uh, at what point do we as a parent give them that independence where it comes to say uh, peers, being with friends, social media? Where do we draw the line? So at this point, we do have our boundaries set where certain things are not acceptable. But as he is growing, I can see that little bit of a fight or a challenge. So I would like to know, was there a struggle with your kids? How does it work? Is every child, I know, I understand every child is different, but how does it get a little easy?
Angel, you want to say
No,
something?
go on. Yeah, I'll just add it.
Okay. I'll take this in two, three parts. We had a concept of something called house rules. I mean, we used to read a lot of books to kids, so we used to pick up languaging. So one of the things was called something called rules of the roost. So house rules, let's put it simply. So as kids get into 10, 11, 12 years, there's always be this thing that, okay, we have our house rules, but the other house, the other kids don't have those rules. They are being allowed to do it. All my friends do it. All my friends have mobile phones. My elder one got his mobile phone at the age of when he went for undergrad, not till then. The younger one got it when he was in 11th. So all of them have it by doing. And we will say, uh, we don't know about how other houses work. This house works this way. There are some things which are non-negotiable, and those will stick. Having said that, we were very conscious to keep those non-negotiables to the bare minimum. If you have a laundry list that is going to become overwhelming, and then even the child would resist it. Stick to the ones which you somewhere intrinsically feel, no, this is something which is non-negotiable. I don't want to compromise, even if all their friends are compromising it. And then you stick to those. And when you stick to it, then there is no leeway. Because if you tell the child that there is an exit door somewhere once in case of emergency, then the child knows to knock that exit door every time. It's just that the tantrum has to keep going up. So a leeway once is a doorway to keep opening the door again and again. So have that as a non-negotiable. Moving on, there are some things which the child learns if you are able to exhibit the same behavior and the same habits yourself. If you want your child to not have, I mean, let's say, be off social media or not have, how are you disciplining yourself around social media? Because that's going to reflect back on them. I mean, it is hard to implement. I completely agree, but children learn by emulating us. If you are able to define our boundaries wherein they are able to say that you and your friends might be doing it, but you have created your own boundaries and you're respecting them, they will respect your boundaries way more. We took extra pains to know their friends better. I mean, by the age of 10, 11, you will have sleepovers starting off. You would have, requests for sleepovers coming in. You would have requests for going out for meals or going out for late nights, stuff like that. So you get to know their friends better. You get to know their parents better, because what happens is, even I'm sure their parents must be facing similar challenges. And if you as parents are able to bond and form whatever their close friends are able to, then you all could probably talk on the same page. I had a friend, I mean, very recently I had a a close friend of mine whose daughter is a teenager, and she was asking for a late night party on 31st December, uh, and be with the friends. So the parents were very closely knit. So what they ended up saying is, one of the parents said, "My house is free. We have a multi-layered house. We will leave the kids at our place. They will not be bothering, but they will be in the house. We will be downstairs or they'll be upstairs, whatever, and then they can do whatever they want as long as they are in the house and not outside." And the kids were fine with that. So they're getting time to spend with each other. They are within the boundaries of the house. They're not going out, but at the same time, so you somewhere do those give and takes wherein it's acceptable to them. A final note I would like to put is something called channelizing energy. Kids, as they keep growing, are a bundle of energy. The energy has to be used somewhere, else it would go into distractions, because you need to release the energy. The more productively you're able to engage your kid in varied activities, wherein the timetable seems chock-a-block, but at the same time, things which he or she is enjoying to do, they will have less time for distractions. Because I think the biggest menace today for, I think, most teenagers is social media. How do you make them stay away from it as long as possible? And then if you are opening the door a little, how do you then control time? Because there is no, you will have timeouts. You will say, okay, I'll give you 1 hour, I'll give you 30 minutes, but it's a window which is going to keep pushing. How do you handle that, manage that? So the more you're able to procrastinate it, because it starts from the fundamental question, why social media? I mean, what is the need? The child will say, all my friends are on social media, they interact on them, all things are fixed up on that, they do revision on that. So you start with the WhatsApp, but then why is an Instagram needed? Why is your shorts or your reels needed? You will have to question, and somewhere you have to put your foot down. Uh, Easier said than done. I'm completely not arguing or debating that, but I can say, I mean, we as a family chose consciously not to be on social media because we wanted to lead by example. So we are not there on any social media, no Instagram, no Facebook. We just WhatsApp is there. Both our kids are not on Instagram. They say their friends always make plans on WhatsApp, on Instagram. We say stick to WhatsApp if you can, or your friends will work around you if they think you're really part of it. So it so happens that for my younger one, who has a very strong group of about 10 to 12 kids, very, very well bonded, they will create a program and they will make sure that he is informed on WhatsApp that this is there, so you better come up or show up on that. They will take the pain. But that is because he is an integral part and they respect his this thing. And they keep telling him, when will you join? When will you join? At the same time, they say, okay, we appreciate that you're saving so much of your time. So even the kids somewhere know that it is taking them down the rabbit hole. It's just that you're not able to control it. So the more you're able to procrastinate, better, because once you open the door, it is very difficult to control. Postponing it as much as possible is a blessing which your child will thank you for when they keep growing up. And the question is, what are you posting and for what? Whom do you need validation from? Why are you telling the world that you ate this chocolate or you went to this restaurant? Just be there. Let your phone or your camera be in your purse and enjoy that tiramisu or enjoy that chocolate cake with entirety, rather than taking a photo of it and trying to post it that I went here. It leads by example. I know it's a lot of unlearning many times for us as parents, but I think it's for the good of the child. And trust me, you will do yourself also a lot of good.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, Mr. Gaurav, you can just unmute. We don't need the hand raise.
Yeah, yeah. I have a question similar to what Sanket was just pointing actually. So once we open the door, then it is hard to control. So similar thing happened with me. So my son is close to 13 now. So he used to come multiple times that all his friends are playing video games, and he too wants to play. I always used to deny. Uh, but a few months back, actually, I agreed for one game. That is when it started. And now, yes, as you pointed, it's difficult to control. I could understand when you say that there should be some strict rules in some cases, but in this case, when it has already happened, so what is your say on that? Actually, how can what can be done going further? We should strictly uh, make him not to play the games, or uh, how to handle this in a better way?
I guess two things. One is you've opened the door, you can't close it suddenly because that will be too much, and they will just resent or rebel out of it. So, just a few possible methods which come to mind. One is a start tracking time in terms of let him note down what is the time he's spending every day or on a weekly basis on the same thing. B, how can you channelize whatever games he's playing into a little more which are creative slash mind entangling rather than I don't know what kind of games he plays, but I'm definitely worried if they are either destructive, violent, or on the edge of inappropriate games, which is a plethora of them outside. If that is the case, then of course you have to put your foot down and say, no, that's not okay, because somewhere they are subconsciously changing the mindset of your child, and they are filling in with aggressive behavior which is not good going forward. So if it is those kind of games, then of course you have to put your foot down and say no more. But if it is more subtler, this thing, you can slowly start channelizing them. I mean, you'll have to do your homework, find out games which appeal to him, at the same time nurture his or her creativity slash intellectual curiosity or critical thinking. There are a lot of such interesting games which are there, which are world building or whatever there, but there are borrowed learnings from that. So you are not closing the door of games, but you're channelizing it into more productive gaming for the sake of it being entertainment slash I wouldn't say educative, but learning or growth, if that helps.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
S-
Sanket,
Maybe
for
I'll
your
just
Sanket,
opinion.
add one thing.
yeah, Kinjal, please you add, and then I also want to add something to that. Yes.
So maybe, I mean, I just got reminded of board games. So maybe as a family, if you can introduce the concept of board games at this stage, then if the child is really enjoying that time, then there'll be hardly very less time left for him to play the Xbox or the video game. So automatically, if you are able to just see that there's something else which is more interesting than this, then I think he will start losing a bit of interest in this. And you don't have to verbally tell it, but you have to just do a few extra things around it. So it automatically comes down. The
Yeah.
craze comes down. So there was this time when even our son had come once and told us that all my friends they have an Xbox, so why can't we have it set up? So the same thing applied at that time. The house rules were there, and we were like, no video games in house. And every year, what we have consciously done is we have given them a challenge. So either they write a book or they make a calendar, an annual calendar. So once they are back from school, I mean, it is. I mean, it's just that the homework that they have to do. Otherwise, they don't have to study for anything, and the sports which they play. After that, whatever time is left, they channelize their energy into either writing or drawing and making an artwork for the annual calendar. So their schedule is so occupied that there is very less time where they can actually deviate and do anything else. So there is no time to think of anything else. And in the process, I mean, I just want to add this and don't want to miss out on this point that we very well know that we are outliers and our children actually don't fit into regular children's groups. So we have had those times when our elder one used to come home and just cry. When we we just spoke about it, and he used to just share that whenever I'm there in a group, a few of the children are just talking, and suddenly they realize I'm there, and they say that, oh, he's here, so let's just switch the topic. And then we've had long chats with our child, and basically tried to tell them that it is okay to be an outlier, and in the process you're gaining a lot. So today there is a stage where our children actually come and tell us that it was a difficult stage for them though, but now today they come and tell us that good, we are not into this and we are doing something more productive. So they themselves are starting to realize that it is okay to be an outlier.
Yeah, thanks a lot for all this sharing these details. Yeah, that really helps.
I love the discussion. I think that is what this was about in our heads, that, and also that there is no one way to handle this, right? So if it was thrown at me, this question, I would say probably I would find a very interesting video which showed the effect the video games were having, and maybe showed that and said, okay, I made a mistake as a parent by allowing you into this, and I now please, I want to correct that mistake, and now let's, and then reduce it one by one, saying you've been spending 2 hours, let's bring it down to 1.5, let's bring it down to one, and then using that half an hour in doing something
Perfect.
which they enjoy doing with me,
True.
and that could be their choice, right? So slowly weaning them out of it by accepting your mistake, showing them why you think it was a big mistake. And it will be a challenge. At any point it's going to be a challenge, but there are multiple ways, and I think you need to understand your child's personality and what appeals to your child and how to get it through. So that. Yeah, any more questions?
One thing which is not a question, but slightly how I would address the learning happening, in grades like grade 8, grade 9, where they're not apparent for board examination. I feel that yes, we should not put that stress on learning as such and getting those marks which we wouldn't remember 15, 10 years later. But the whole idea of concept clarity comes in these classes. The whole idea of understanding that what is it to read a question paper well, follow how the question paper is leading you to the tricky part of it. So you are preparing your children to be prepared for the higher examinations.
Competitive exams.
Yes. So even if my child doesn't do competitive, even just take examinations with that concept clarity. What examinations are meant to challenge you for. So that's how I feel I can't put a slow button on the learning process or say that you can take it easy. I just find that uh, you know, approach a little difficult because I don't want to pressure my child. I don't want him or her to be stressed out, as you mentioned. But at the same time, I want that concept clarity to happen, have that rigor to know that this needs to be learned and it will help you in the future. So I just get a little stuck there. How can I maneuver my child to have that zest to ace the exams, even though they don't top the school or the grade, but just have that zest to do their examinations well. That is a little tricky part for me at this
But why should they be conflicting with each other? I mean, why can't it be and? Why should it be or? While I mean, you are in sync with the idea that the fundamentals and the foundations are very important, which I think
moment.
you
Hmm.
mentioned, and also that you don't want to stress your child. What
Hmm.
you're thinking about is that what you want him to do the best he can during the examination, which is absolutely fair and a valid expectation. And I'm sure
Hmm.
the child would also want to do that.
Hmm.
Like you explained, that there has to be an approach to attempting the
Yeah.
paper, which is, I think, a mindset you develop in the child, that read the entire paper first.
Hmm. Hmm.
Understand what are the areas which are a sure shot, finish those first. Understand those which probably will take a lot more time but are not worth the marks, or understand
Hmm.
the ones which are like traps and you will end up spending too much time and may not be able to sort them out, so park them.
Hmm.
So those are things I'm sure you can definitely guide your child.
But Sanket, to have that approach to filter what I know, what I don't know, what I can approach, you
Mhm.
need to really be prepared. You really need to, because given how competitive the grades have become. So I changed my son's school from CBSE to Cambridge because he only came up to me and said, "Mama, I don't feel challenged in my class. I don't feel I'm really learning a lot." So we chose between Cambridge and IB because for me IB was maybe good for the latter half when he does his grade 11 and grade 12 IBDP, but I wanted to stick to Cambridge in the middle years and obviously till grade 10. And that is where I thought that this is very important that he needs to get into depth of it. And again, coming back to my point, I find it very tricky to be at ease during the examination time, and at the same time, not press the accelerator. So it's very tricky to keep your calm as well, because you know that it's a very
If I
uh,
can, and if I
depth. Yeah,
take the liberty of asking you, I mean,
yeah,
I loved it when your child approached you and said that, okay, I'm not being challenged enough, which means he's
yes,
introspective, he knows what it is, and he has that joy of learning. That is why he's saying push. I mean, I would like to
yeah,
speak on more. Uh,
yeah.
with that in hindsight and with that as the backdrop, is this not being relaxed, or is this not pressing the accelerator or not being stressed more about you than the child? Is what I wanted to ask.
No, I am not, putting, but that's what I'm saying. I can't also keep calm.
What
That
I'm
is
saying.
where,
So, isn't it more about you rather than the child? That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, yeah. But
Probably more
that
about
is
working
what,
with yourself than working with the child. I mean, if I can just say that.
hmm.
Because I think the way you are saying, somewhere he's sorted. He knows what he's doing. He probably
Hmm,
knows his strengths and weaknesses. So
hmm,
probably maybe you just need to take a step back and not handhold him so much, and just observe. And there have been times. I'm just sharing. There have been times when our kids have come back and they said, "We didn't do okay. We got, let's say, we could have got 5 or 10 more." We said,
yeah,
"Fine." But the bottom line is, next time if you were to do it, would you repeat the same mistake again or not? If not, then you have learned your this thing. I think
hmm,
purpose done. Let's move on in life, kinds.
Probably,
Give
yeah.
that space to the
I could,
kids to self introspect and learn. I think that helps, and that
yeah.
makes them grow better.
Probably yes. I think maybe I'll use that angle now to put the introspection onto him, rather than me only worrying about
Correct.
how
Exactly.
how
Exactly.
much depth is there to cover. Cool,
Right.
cool. Thanks for that.
Sure.
If there are no more questions, it is 6 o'clock and we can. I think time went by very quickly. Um, Kinjal and Sanket, thank you so much. Uh,
Always a
I, I think it was a very insightful session. We have kind of made some takeaways that we will share later in the Guiding Teens
sure.
community on the WhatsApp group. So that, sometimes takeaways are very, very important for parents. I could see that parents could relate, especially when you started giving your examples, because I think that is where all the learning lies, right?
We are on the same
Where
boat.
you've taken, so you have the philosophy, but how do you put it to practice? So the philosophy, I mean, it's a lot of gyan, but the practice is what the parents are looking for, right? So how do we
Mm,
actually put it into practice? I think that was very useful. Thank you very much. It was an honor having you both, and we hope to continue having more of these conversations with you and with other parents like you. Thank
absolutely.
you.
And
Thank you
more
so
power.
much,
Thank you
More
guys.
so
power to
much.
Thank
anyone.
you. Really
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.